Hey, can you guys see me? I've got something in my way. I'm struggling. There's a broom here for some reason. Broom. I don't. Is it because the Mariners just swept the Houston Astros? Did the Mariners just win 7-6 to improve to 69-55 on the season and sweep? Yes, you heard me right. Sweep the Houston Astros. Notice that I'm putting the broom down now rather than throwing it because I got a couple of puppies, and if they got hurt for a stupid bit, I would be so upset. Mm. That is what I'm flipping talking about, folks. Let's talk quickly how it happens. Julio Rodriguez scores on a wild pitch after a double. Dominic Canzone doubles home Teoscar Hernandez to make it 2-0. Eugenio Suarez crushes a home run 4-0. Third inning, Brian O'Keefe. Yes, Brian O'Keefe doubles home Canzone, who was amazing today, and Josh Rojas. 6-0. Third inning, after Emerson Hancock leaves, and we'll talk about it. Astros put up a 5 spot, a single by Alvarez, a double by Diaz, a double by Dubon, 6-5. Mariners get a little bit of insurance with a Dylan Moore single to score Mike Ford. Alex Bregman does triple in the 6th to score Jeremy Pena, 7-6. That's it. Mariners win. Holy crap. I'm exhausted. Before we get into the positives and negatives, Simply Seattle, the best. Simply Seattle, thank you so much for sponsoring this show. And also, thank you for having all the amazing equipment you do. Hats like this, amazing shirts, amazing hoodies, amazing anything you could be looking for Seattle sports related. It's not just Mariners, folks. We're talking Huskies, Kraken, Supersonics, Storm, Sounders, anything you could possibly be looking for in terms of Seattle sports gear and more. Got amazing Grey's Anatomy shirts. They've got amazing Seattle themed stuff. They're awesome. They pack super quick. Cannot recommend them enough, and cannot recommend using code MollyWAP15 enough. All one word. The link will be in the subscription, but you can save 15% off your order by getting that, using that code. Thank you so much, Simply Seattle. I mean, that was a baseball game, folks. Like, that was, thank goodness it's a win, because I would just be emotionally drained. I mean, I am emotionally drained, but I would be donezo if this isn't a win. Oh, what a win. You're now a half game back of the Houston Astros for the 5th wild card spot. You are now, I believe, if Texas loses today, and they're losing the last time I checked, you'll be 3 games back of the division. And we talked about it yesterday, folks. We want that division. We want to get in the postseason, of course, but we want that division. We want it. It's been 22 years since they've won that division. Let's go get it. It's absolutely right in front of them. And they've played so well, that's now a realistic thing. Okay, let's talk about some negatives, because there's a few. First of all, it's a negative that's not his fault, but Emerson Hancock leaves this game with a shoulder strain. It's worth pointing out that he dealt with a lat strain not that long ago. I thought he looked pretty good in those 2 innings that he pitched, but you're almost assuredly talking about an IL stint here. And this is problematic because the Mariners have no starting pitching depth right now. None. Like zip zero. There's no starting pitching depth. Even with Brian Wu coming back from his fake injury, this is not an ideal situation. And it's why I wanted the Mariners to add a starter. I was shocked that they didn't. I don't know where you go. There's been talk about the Mariners going to a 6-man rotation. That's not happening now, because who the heck is your 6th starter? I don't know. I don't know what you do. That is going to be something that they're going to have to figure out. Luckily that you've got 4 pretty darn good ones ahead of them, but puts a lot of pressure on those guys, and you've got to win 3 of those 4, basically, because you don't know what you're going to get from your 5th. Taylor Saucedo was awful. And here's the thing. I think what happened with Saucedo was you saw a guy who was working as if he was going to have to pitch multiple innings. And, Saucedo can do that, but I think that he put a little more pressure on himself than he needed to. It wasn't going max effort like he normally goes. Saucedo has been excellent for most of the year. It's hard to be too mad about him, but he gives up 5 runs and gets 0 outs. That did not help. We will talk about the positive, though, that happened after Saucedo. Top of the lineup was really bad. Look, Julio was due for a bad game, and he does double to lead off the game. But after that, Julio took some really poor at-bats. Really poor. Misses a slider right down the middle of the plate, gets under a pitch that he should have clobbered, flies out to the warning track. Was not his best game. Doesn't make a catch that he normally makes. Again, we can't be too mad about anything Julio does with how well he's played, but this was not his best game. I think he'd be the first to admit it. Looked really frustrated when he swung at bases loaded, a cookie cutter slider down the middle of the plate, and he just pops it up. This was not Julio at his best. He was due to not be at his best. When you go 18 for 22, you're going to be due to not be at your best. But this was not him at his finest. Ty France struggled. Teoscar really struggled, although does draw a walk. Eugenio does hit the 2-run homer, but then doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. You know, for a 7-run outing, the offense wasn't great tonight with some exceptions, and we will talk about those exceptions. Let's just get into those positives. Dominic Canzone was sensational. Sensational. One of the best games not even close. The best game he's played as a Seattle Mariner. I'm sure one of the best games he's had as a professional. He goes 4 for 5. He drives in a run, constantly on base, took really good at bats. Extremely impressive effort. And same for Dylan Moore. Dylan Moore was 4 for 5 today with an RBI, a massive RBI, to get that lead up to 7-5. Oh, that was big. Oh, that was just absolutely huge. You felt so much more confident, I think, with that extra run. And they needed it because they do give up one more run. But I thought that was a huge hit. Josh Rojas reaches a couple of times. Brian O'Keefe with a couple of RBIs with a double. That's when I thought, and he drew a walk too, a terrific at bat on that walk too. Good for Brian O'Keefe. Great that Big Dumper was able to get a little bit of time off. Big Dumper actually really struggled after he pinch hit as well. Of course, he looked very frustrated because he definitely drew a walk. Let me get comfortable, folks. I wasn't in my chair. I was thinking about doing this one as a stand-up because I just thought it might be interesting, but I made the wrong adjustments. You're not interested in that, and that's fine. The Stu Shearwater should be fired. He is beyond incompetent. He's terrible. He gives a black eye to the game of baseball. He is embarrassing. He sucks. He's the same dude who screwed up on the Matt Brash, Kyle Tucker situation earlier in the year. He was terrible tonight. Not just for when the Mariners were screwing up. The Astros have plenty of reasons to complain too. Stu Shearwater, if you're watching this, you suck at your job. I hope you have a great life, but go get a job at Amazon or somewhere else because you suck. You suck. There's no redeeming qualities about you as an umpire. You suck. I'm so glad the Mariners won so I can forget that you are just hot, flipping garbage at your job. Garbage. Unacceptable garbage. Tell us how you really feel, Chris. I mean, he was just awful. He was awful tonight. He was flat out guessing what balls and strikes were. And it affected the at-bats tonight. You saw guys on both sides swinging at pitches outside the zone because you just had no freaking idea what a strike was. That's not acceptable. Give me those robots now. Okay. Now that negative's out of the way. By the way, Mike Ford, I've given you a lot of crap. You also reached twice, and you had good at-bats against left-handed pitchers tonight. Kudos. Kudos to you. And a big, huge, massive kudos to this bullpen. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, you're going to look and you say they gave up 6 runs tonight. That's not even kind of telling the story. Saucedo gives up the 5. Campbell gives up the 1. But all in all, this bullpen was fantastic. fantastic. Trent Thornton pitching in the type of situation I want Trent Thornton pitching in, terrific. Loved using Matt Brash in that situation. Game was absolutely on the line. You bring in Matt Brash, and Matt Brash was fantastic. Justin Topa had no idea where his pitches were going, but the stuff was so good and the movement was so good, it didn't matter. And I loved bringing in Munoz for the 8th in that situation. That was the game. That was the ball game. Yes, he had Yordan Alvarez leading off in the next inning, but that was the game. First time I've had to do this, guys. 1 sec. Never mind. I thought I had to sneeze. And then Gabe Spire. Congrats on your first save. Looked fantastic. Gabe Spire and Justin Topa in particular. You can't give DePoto and Hollander enough credit for bringing those guys in. They have been saviors for this bullpen. He was terrific. He gives up the one hit. It was just a ground ball. Dylan Moore almost makes a really nice play. Boy, he's really played well since I chastised him a little bit. Happy to look dumb there. Oh, you just swept the Houston Astros in August. I mean, these games mean so much, and you go out and do that. That's everything we're asking for, folks. It's all to play for. It's all to play for. Now, my dog's not very excited, as I think you just heard. She's snoring away. But I'm excited. I'm beyond excited, but I am exhausted. If they could go ahead and play 3 normal ones against the White Sox coming up, I'd really appreciate it. I'd really appreciate it. Can't say enough good things about Canzone. Those at-bats were so good. Moore, fantastic. Rojas, fantastic. Build up a 6-0 lead. It gets to 6-5. We're all thinking, at least I was anyway, I was thinking, I really wanted this one, but I understand. Your starting pitcher leaves after only 2 innings. You've won 5 straight. This is going to hurt a little bit, but I'm going to get over it. But when they had the lead in the late innings, it became, I need this one. I need this one to go well. And it did, as it has so often in the second half of the year. Oh. Can't say enough good things about this pen tonight. Crazy to say after somebody gets up a 5 spot without getting it out, but that bullpen was unreal. And one of the best games I think Scott Service has managed. If I had one complaint, I would have used, hi, Skip. That's good. That's good. That's okay. Come on, hold it. She's good. Life happens, guys. Lola, it's okay. Maybe that's a good time to end this video because I don't have anything else to say other than this is awesome. This is so fun. Please hit like and subscribe. I promise you most of these videos don't end terribly like this. That's 50-50. Yeah, I just got really distracted, and that's okay. Did I mention there's no edit button for us? We don't edit stuff. A sweep. A sweep. A sweep of the Houston Astros. I jokingly brought up how big a sweep, not jokingly, but like in passing, basically brought up, hey, a sweep, you're only a half game back in the Astros. Here it is. And it's 1 win behind. So it's basically a virtual tie where you completely control your own destiny with the Houston Astros now. Follow me on X, I guess, at Crawford_MILB. But please hit like and subscribe. We're so close to 800. I would really appreciate it. Sports Sometimes recording this week with my buddy Levi Weaver. Sportstopia coming very soon, and RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast, not last but not least by any stretch of the imagination. I really appreciate everybody checking those episodes out every single weekend. Sweep. It's a sweep.